Good evening and welcome to the Treasure Workshop, our Seroptimus Safari, heading to the mountains of Moolah with our Region Treasure, Becky McGinty. I'll turn it over to you, Becky.
You always have such creative titles for me. So hello, everyone, and welcome. First of all, before I get started, I just wanted to let everybody know I have a few things I want to go over with you tonight, but I really want to keep this kind of informal. I really want to answer your questions as you have them, and you'll have time for that at the end. With the new fiscal year starting and this one ending, I know you have some questions. So anyway, here we go.
I just realized I forgot to do the Zoom poll.
Oh.
Do you want me to quickly do the poll?
Sure,
okay, sorry. I didn't make a sticky note. Okay, just wanted to know who you all are. I think we're looking at the list and we can kind of figure it out. But if you all hopefully, there you go. We can just want to kind of get a sense of who's here. And we still have a few more people coming into the room, Zoom room here.
Okay. Somebody loves this topic. Oh my.
We're almost there. We're going to count down now. This poll will close in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And most everybody's signed in, so we'll share the results here. Once you're a club treasurer, are you almost always a club treasurer? Okay, but welcome those new club treasurers or incoming new club treasurers. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, and we love those who love this topic. All right, I'll turn it back over to you now, Becky.
Can you make your poll go away? Or is that because it's on my screen? Oh, there it goes. Okay, so I get tired of having my mug on all these presentations, and most of you know what I look like. So I do have a big announcement, and that picture is the reason why. Now I'm moving from Port Angeles to Spokane Valley in just over 2 weeks, and that is my youngest son, Graham, and his beautiful wife, Charlene, and their 2 children, Milo and Ellie, who also live in Spokane. Our oldest son and my husband are all moving at the end of June because we want to watch our grandchildren grow up. So that being said, there are lots of changes on the forms with the new address. So I'll be going over those forms in a little bit. So but the big thing is that do not mail anything to Port Angeles after the 10th of this month. I just want to make sure it gets to me in time before I leave. Sometimes the U.S. postal system isn't always reliable. So, and I've updated all the forms and I will be going over them tonight of what's coming up. So anyway, that's the big announcement. I am moving from Port Angeles to Spokane Valley. So just be aware of that if you have things to mail to me in the next couple of weeks.
Is that your son and your family?
That's one of my sons. Yes, that's my youngest son and his wife, and my 2 latest grandchildren. That's Milo and Ellie. So
cute, very cute.
I thought that would be more cheerful than my mug. So okay. So dues, if you haven't heard, the dues amounts are changing. So the Northwestern region dues has changed, and so has SIA. So please make sure you have the correct form. Again, I have posted them on the Northwestern region website, and they do also have my new mailing address on them. So let's review before we get to the year-end stuff, because I do have some year-end things to go over with you, but I want to go over the forms real quick since they are new and the address has changed and all of that. So this is the new region dues state and form. This is the one that's going to be due July 1st coming up that you'll be doing for all of your clubs. This is the new the dues amount is $10.60. It was $9.80. That was announced at conference back in April. My new mailing address is on here. Lost my place, sorry. I know it's been a little confusing with former treasurer Becky Taft and now your treasurer Becky McGinty, but some of the forms are still going. People are still mailing Becky Taft stuff. Sometimes I'm not getting all the right forms that I need, or I'm not getting or I'm getting a lot of forms I don't need. That's why I kind of wanted to go over with you guys tonight. So this is the first one. So when you send this form in before July 1st, I need this form. I need form 200, which I'll show you in a minute. And I also need your official SIA club roster. And you get that roster when you go on to the SIA website. So sometimes I get this form, sometimes I don't get a roster, sometimes I don't get form 200. So there's 3 things that you need to send me before July 1st. This is the first one. This is the second one. This is form 200 that lets us know who your new club president and treasurer are. This one also has to go to SIA. They need to know who your club president and treasurer are. That makes sure that we get information to those 2 people, and SIA gets information to those 2 people that they need to have for a variety of reasons. So it's important that I get a copy of that and SIA gets a copy. I think theirs gets emailed to them if I'm not. Again, they're all on the Northwestern Region website. This is what your club roster looks like. Sometimes I get handwritten notes of everybody's name and address. Sometimes I get an Excel sheet. Sometimes I get lots of different things. Or sometimes I don't get one at all. So this happens to be the one from SI Jet Set, which is the club I'm in. So they're on the SI website. You can log in and request your club roster. If you happen to have some new people right at the end of the year, or new people that SIA hasn't updated the roster yet, because sometimes they're a little slow in updating it, you can just write their names on the last page. This is a form you will use if throughout the year after registration time, after the annual dues is due July 1st, if you add any new members, or if you have new members that have left and you're reinstating them. So sometimes I get this one plus a whole lot more. So this is the only one I need if you're reinstating or you have a new member. This is the one that comes to me. This is the form you use if you have a membership change, maybe a name change, somebody got married, somebody moved, someone's transferring over to a new club. I know this year SI Spokane will be using this one to transfer me from SI Port Angeles Jet Set over to SI Spokane, or if someone terminates and leaves your club. This goes to SIA as well. This is the new member form for SIA. So there's 2 new member forms that need to be done, one for region, one for SIA. I know a lot of forms, and I know it gets confusing, especially sometimes for new treasurers, but all the information is on here, who gets it, where they go. And if you ever have any questions, please email me. I'm happy to send you in the right direction. So here's just kind of a wrap up of that. So we have a new form for the annual dues to the Northwestern Region. That's wrong what that says there, by the way. Then you have form 200 that has the club president and treasurer and your official roster. Those are the 3 things I will need July 1st. And then if you have any new members throughout the year or a reinstated member, that form is also on there. And then SIA gets form 200 as well, that has your new president and treasurer, or even if you have the same one, you still should send it into them. Then they have form numbers on there. It's form 5010 if it's a member change or termination, and form 5008, which is a new member or reinstatement. So questions about forms, anybody? Because I know there's a lot of them and it's confusing. I'm still getting some forms that are from 2 bienniums ago, where everything's crossed off on them. And sometimes my address is right, and sometimes it's sent to Becky, and sometimes the amount's wrong. And so you always go and check the region website to make sure you have the latest form.
Becky, what is your email again?
treasurer@seroptimusnwr.org. Karen, if you'll pop that into the chat, I'd appreciate it.
And Pat has a question. Pat, I think you're muted.
Do the do the forms need to be in your hands by July 1 or postmarked July 1?
They need to be postmarked, but if as soon as you can get them to me, the better. I appreciate it. So,
Thank you.
Great question.
yes.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Is that you?
Nicole?
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, hi. Sorry. As far as the SIA forms, if we don't have any members changing, terminating, any new members or any reinstatements, so the only form that we would be sending would be the 200?
And your annual registration that you have to do online with them.
Right. But I was just talking about the forms that are listed here.
Yeah, yes. Your form 200 would be the only form you'd actually send it to them. So, yeah. So you do our registration, you do the registration online, and both of us would get a form 200. So,
Becky, could you repeat that?
sure. So before July 1st, I need the annual dues form, the form 200, and your official club roster. SIA, which I think is all online now to do dues for SIA. I don't think you can do a form anymore. So you need to go on SIA and do your annual dues to SIA, and they need a form 200. That's every year in July. Did that make sense, Nicole?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Okay.
Can we print rosters from the SIA International website?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes, you can. That is where your official roster is. And like I said, if you have some new members you've had towards the end of this year and they're not showing on that roster, just write them on the back, write them at the last page or something, because sometimes they're a little behind in updating that roster. You can go ahead and write those new ones on there. Say you put somebody in March or April and they haven't updated it yet. They should have by now, but sometimes there's maybe a new one that's not on there. So, but yeah, you can go in and print it off. It's right there. If you log in, you'll see it. I know it's a lot of paperwork. You should see it on my side. I have 2 fat binders full. So. And some of the form, I think I've made all of them fillable. I'll go double check because I just uploaded them. So if you download the form and you fill it in and then print it, it's nice because there's a lot of my eyes get tired. I'm an accountant. I look at numbers and things all day long, and sometimes it's hard for me to read handwriting, especially emails. And it's real important that we have your members' emails right. That's why we like the official roster, because it's all nice and typed and printed. Even on the forms, when you have new members, if you can use the fillable form, so I can read the email addresses, because that's important for your new members to get the women's newsletter, to get on our list, to get any other announcements, when we're doing safaris, when we're doing any special kind of training. So when the region folks and Karen sends out all that information, it goes out to their email. And if I can't read it, then I gotta bug you to send it to me, or bounces. Our tech people are telling me, I send an email to them and they're saying that's bouncing, and I have to go track it down. So it is really helpful if we have a fillable form. I think all of them are now. If you can actually download it, fill it all in, then print it and send it to me instead of handwriting it if you can.
Treasurer Becky, we've got a question from Kathy McCullough next.
Becky, so pardon me, your Northwest Region form is now fillable?
Yeah, it should be.
Okay, because I put it out on my drive like a month ago and it wasn't fillable at that point. So okay.
I will
Okay.
double check again. I think I just updated it a few days ago. So
Okay.
but I'll double check.
Okay.
I may
All
have
right.
given to make sure I uploaded the right one.
Okay.
Any other questions on forms?
I have
Anything-
dropped all the forms into chat, by the way, if you open up your meeting. Hopefully you have your meeting chat open.
And if you have any questions, please email me. I'm happy. I know I've been kind of absentee the last 2 weeks, between buying and selling a house. But please email me and I will be happy to, if you can't find it, hey, Becky, I can't find the form, I'll drop it in an email to you, so.
So if we're sending in some new member, we had 3 new members in May and I'm just getting ready to send the check. Do I still send it to the old address? Or should I send it, because Becky McGinty did you move?
I am moving. So are
Okay.
you putting them in this year or are you waiting to put them in July 1?
No, I'm putting them in this year, like I'm probably mailing them in the next few days.
As long as you get in the mail before the 10th, that's
Okay.
fine. Yeah,
Okay,
I should
okay.
get them. We're not actually driving out of here to the 23rd, but I thought I'd cut it off a little early just in case. Because
okay,
sometimes things get, mail. So,
Sure.
yeah, that's fine. So then they'll be paying dues again on July 1st?
yes, yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Oh, okay. I know in our club, if we've got 3 members coming on right now too, but we're just holding off till July 1st.
Yeah, for some reason, they didn't want to hold off. We did them
Okay,
in
that's-
May.
I mean, that's fine.
We have 2 more in July, so.
Okay, okay. Yeah, no, you can still send it to, if you've got the form already, because I already updated the address
Yeah, I have the form already.
at the,
Becky, I think there might be an issue with your connection.
uh-oh.
We can't hear you. If you might need to turn off your video. It seems to be breaking up a bit, unless it's me. I think it's. Maybe the internet will be more stable in Spokane.
Maybe. You would think. It's a bigger city. Let's hope so. Let me turn it off and turn it back on again. Let's see. Anyway, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Okay, if it goes out again, let me know. So yeah, if you have the form that has the PO box in Port Angeles, that's fine.
okay.
Okay, any other questions about forms before we move on? And you can always email me. Okay, where am I here? Slide 12. Okay, it's audit time. So just kind of with a wave of hands, how many are you doing audit at the end of the year, every year? Couple. Okay, good. This is a simple little audit. It's not this, it's not like a CPA audit or an accounting audit or anything. On the SIA website is a little audit form that kind of gives you a guide. But it's important, that's a fuzzy picture. It's important at the end of the year for, the president picks 3 people to do the audit, not the treasurer. She's there because she has all the paperwork, but just 3 people, and that you go just step by step through that little audit of, looking at some paperwork, doing this, adding up some numbers. It's real easy to do. But it's important as both the treasurer and for your presidents to know that the books get closed out at the end of the year and everything's cool. And then the new president comes in and she's getting handed off that money and everything is working right. So I would highly suggest, and I honestly don't know if it's actually required, but if you're not doing it, you should be. Because it's just fiscally responsible to do so. Is to go do that. It's just like one form. It takes 3 people about an hour to do. I always like doing it because we sit around and have a cup of coffee or a glass of wine and do the audit and visit for a while. So it was not a big deal. So as a treasurer and as a president, I've been in both of those shoes. I was always glad to know that the books were clean and done and finished for 1 year before I took over, and that they were the same thing happened before I handed them off to the next year's president. So I highly recommend that you do this. And like I said, the form is available at the SIA website. So, and if you have any questions about it or you need help doing it, let me know, because I've done it a million times and I'm happy to help with that. So especially new treasurers, it's good for you to get familiar with it if you haven't seen it. So any questions about audit? why we do them, why you should do them.
I just
have-
dropped the document into chat.
Okay. We have like a finance team and they audit us quarterly.
Great, great. Great.
We've got a question from Carol.
Yes. Do I understand the treasurer should not sign the audit?
No, the audit team should.
The audit
Our
team?
treasurer is always there when our president usually picks 3 people, but because she's got the book that's got the papers or got the information, or it's, you know, whatever, however you're keeping your books, because she's the person who has the access and probably can answer the questions. But the audit is actually done by someone else.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And it's not about, you know, seeing if you're doing things right or whatever. It's just, you know, it's just standard policy. It's good best practice, you know. So. Any other questions about the audit? Where was it? Okay. Closing your books. How many of you are using an accounting program like QuickBooks or something similar? Wave of hands. Okay. So when you finish your fiscal year end, you should close your books. And what that means is, if you don't already know, there's a, in QuickBooks, once you've reconciled your June bank account and once your audit's done, you can go in and set a closing date in there. And once that is done, you should not go back and be changing anything in the prior year. Once your tax return is done, you shouldn't be changing anything in the prior year. Because if you should ever get audited by the IRS, all that has to match all the time. So you can't be going back and changing anything. Once you reconcile a bank account, you shouldn't go back and change anything because it'll throw your bank reconciliation off. So make sure that at the end of the year, you can set a password on it if you want to. So if someone else is in there and they want to go change something, saying it'll pop up with a little error message that says, you're trying to change something in a year that's been closed. Are you sure you really want to do that? And on occasion, there's a reason to, but most of the time there's not. So I would suggest when you finish your year, June 30th, it's up in the, if you're using QuickBooks online, it's up in the little gear thing. There's a little thing that says to set the closing date. And all it does is pop up a little reminder. If you're trying to change something, do you really want to do that? It's a prior year. So it's always a good idea to set that date because you really don't want to change anything. Once you've reconciled, once the audit's done, you've handed it off to someone else to do your tax preparer, whoever that is, that you don't change anything. So if you have, if you have any questions about that, let me know. I can show you how to do it, but it's really simple to do because your tax return and your audit and your closing bank statements should all line up together and should never be changed once they're done. So it's kind of important. So I probably confused everybody on that one, but okay. Any questions on that? Okay. Okay, now it's June 30th and it's tax time. So for those of you, so the tax returns are for fiscal year June 30th, tax returns are due by October 15th. And there's several ones that you can do. Some of you, if you have a lot of money or large events and things, you have to do a 990. If you have over $200,000 in gross receipts, you have to do a 990. If you have less than 200,000 and less than $500,000 in assets, which I doubt anybody has, you can do a 990 EZ. If you have less than 50,000 in gross receipts, you can do an e-file online. And those are really simple to do and take about 5 minutes. So hopefully you know which one of those your club needs. It's also filed under your EIN number. You all should have one, your own number, not SIA's EIN number, your EIN number. And don't be late because people can lose their 501c3 standing by now.
Becky, is the 990 the tax return?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, it is.
Okay,
That is the tax
okay.
return. But there's different levels of it for nonprofits depending on how much money you make every year. So you don't necessarily need to, the 990 is a rather long tax return. So if you're making under $50,000 a year, they don't require you to file that one. You can go online to the IRS, set up an ID and a password, and they ask you 3 questions. Did you make more than 50,000? No. Is this your identification number? Yes. Who are you? I'm so-and-so. Done. It's done. It's filed. That's it.
And
there's no-
Marie's got her hand raised. Hi, Marie.
Hi, Marie.
Hi, I just wanted to confirm the date. I was thinking the easy or the one online was November, but you said October 15th?
I believe you're 4 months after the end of your fiscal year.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, the e-file one, if you're less than $50,000 in receipts, is super simple. Because it takes they ask like 3 questions, and then I always I don't think they actually give you anything. I have to always like print the screen that shows it's filed. So. Okay. All right. Any other questions so far with what we've covered? Okay. I still.
I'm not seeing any.
Okay. All right. So this is the club treasurer calendar that's at SIA. So all these are more related to SIA stuff. So we do have a region calendar, which I need to update, and I haven't yet. I will. We also have a region treasurer handbook that I haven't had a chance to update either. This has been a really kind of hard year personally, professionally, and volunteer wise for me. I lost my sister this past year, and it's just been kind of a whirlwind year. So, but things have leveled out now, except for the move. Sheesh. So I'm hoping to get those 2 things updated for you pretty soon. But if you ever need to know when things are due, the calendar there, it still says 22, 23, but the dates like July 1st, August, October, whenever anything is particular due, those dates are still pretty accurate. So you can go on there and get that this calendar for SIA or that calendar for the region.
I've also uploaded it in chat, and we've got a question from Diana.
Yes, Diana.
Yes, if you look, I want to go back to the 990 because I believe the October 15th date is wrong. If you
Okay.
look on this chart, you'll see that the 990 is due November 15th for
Okay.
the fiscal year ending June 30th.
Okay. Okay. I haven't looked up the date in a while, and it used to be 4 months, but you're probably right. So.
Oh, I file these, so I know.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. I've done the e-file one for so long, I couldn't remember when the 990s were due. So I don't file tax returns, so thank you. I appreciate that. So there you go, guys, November 15th.
We have a question in chat. What do you mean your EIN number?
That's your federal ID number. Each club has one.
Becky, how if for some way if there's a club that doesn't know if they have a number or doesn't know what it is?
It's on
how
your
could-
tax return from last year. You can get it off your tax return. It's on there somewhere.
Thanks.
Betty, did that answer your question? I saw your hand up. And then it went down. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's on your tax return. And if so, also, if any of you are in Washington State, you also have some annual reports to file with the state of Washington. And I've been doing some research, and I know there's a few clubs that are missing there. So make sure you go to the Secretary of State Washington's website and Google your club's name to see if you're missing your annual report to them.
Sorry, this is Betty Jean. I just wanted to ensure that Pam understood that it's the chapter's EIN, not your personal EIN.
Right.
Imagine.
Oh, yeah. your
Thank
club.
you.
Okay. So that's all I had. Like I said, I didn't want to take up all night with you guys' time, but so what questions do you have? I know at conference, I had a lot of people coming up to me and asking me questions about a whole variety of subjects. So now I've got my undivided attention. So what's confusing? What do you need help with? I've got a couple of clubs that are coming online with QuickBooks Online that need help. either converting from nothing, just keeping their books by hand. Some are converting from desktop, some I've been online, but they're confused about some stuff and want some training. Whatever you need, what do you need? What do you have questions about?
Is there a way to get this information from the chat? Like email to us or something?
What information is it you want? Which
Well,
things?
like I'm kind of looking it over, and what is the website for the region? Like you've got the www.seroptimus.org for the international website, but then you've said there's some forms on the regional website. What
There you
is
go.
that address?
There you go. Karen just popped it in there for you.
Okay,
But it is in the members only section. So you need to log on. And if you don't have a login, just say you need to sign up and one of our fabulous volunteers will get you connected really soon with the members only section of the website. And if you wanted to save the chat, at the very bottom of the meeting chat, you should see 3 dots. And you can, if you click on those 3 dots, it'll open up another little window. And at the very top of that window, it says save chat. And you can also, that's one way to save the chat. You can also go in and click on the documents or click on the 3 dots if you're next to the document in chat, and you can do a save as there on your computer. It'll open up another little window if you look at those 3 dots
Okay.
next to any document.
okay, got it. Just did it. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, we're trying to make this kind of a one-stop shop, but you can always go to the websites if you need stuff. And we will post this. I could actually probably send out the PDF to everybody who's in our current treasurer list. And we'll post this on our website as well.
Pat, did you have a question?
I do, I do have a question. Our club is looking for a way that members can pay dues. Also, as far as so many of our new members do not have bank accounts and are no longer writing checks. And I can't find it right now, but I did read in our last women's newsletter that some clubs set up a Venmo, and I went on that site today, but I didn't see that there was a possibility with nonprofits. And I was just wondering, we have used Square and we've also used another, but those all involve fees. So I was just wondering if any other club has found a feeless technical payment option.
May I ask what bank you bank with?
Pardon?
What bank does your club bank with?
Apple Credit Union.
Okay. Okay.
I know personally, some of us use Zelle, some of us use
Right.
others. But as far as our club goes, surely there's a way that we can find a feeless procedure.
Yeah, that would be helpful. Yeah, I know what you mean, because I know there's a lot of folks now that don't. My youngest son's one, he doesn't have a checkbook. So, but we send money in between us. I don't know, Pat, but I could certainly see if I can find that out for you. I have a couple people might be able to ask.
I've just dropped a link. This is not a promotion, but into Zephy. We're looking into this Canadian company called Zephy to do online registration that we don't have to pass on fees to everyone who registers. So Zephy might be an option. I know a lot of clubs use PayPal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just
I
ask
think
them, you ask them just to pay.
Rhonda just,
Yeah.
Rhonda just mentioned that. Well, there we go. It's some good discussion in chat. Thanks you all.
Oh, who said, oh, Venmo does recognize nonprofits. Okay. So maybe a little bit more research into that.
Does anyone who is on tonight use any particular form? Oh, Nancy.
Yeah, Nancy.
How is that working out for you, Nancy?
have to unmute. We set it up for a flower sale this year and it worked great. Venmo did.
Okay.
So from now on, we're using it for dues, we're using it for everything. We aren't set up to pay bills that way, but we can receive funds. But the person, remember the person that pays by Venmo has to have a Venmo account. If they do not have a Venmo account, then they have to pay the fees.
Oh, well, what I read, it was like a 10% fee, right?
For that person who's not a member of Venmo, but like I was not a personal member of Venmo, so it was going to cost me 10% more. But I joined Venmo and then I paid with Venmo and it worked without fees.
Great.
And
And so-
it's all related to PayPal. They're cousins.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nancy. Anybody else have some questions, suggestions, need some help with something?
We're always happy to hear if there's some particular online training sessions you'd like to have. Feel free to drop any of those in the chat. I'm not seeing any other questions. I don't want to keep everybody here just to be looking at each other's beautiful faces.
If you think of anything, like you get up and, oh, darn, I should have asked Becky that. Like I said, feel free to email me, let me know. So I'll be packing boxes. I'll come check my email.
And of course, your email, Region Treasurer Becky, is treasurer@seroptimistnwr.org, and it is in the chat.
Well, I really appreciate everybody tonight and your great questions, and hopefully you got some good information, and I helped a little bit, I hope.
Yeah. And thank you all so much for being here. I know June is a very busy month, so thanks for taking some time out tonight. And we hope that the dues submittals go seamlessly and you don't have any challenges, but do reach out to headquarters staff if there's any questions about headquarters stuff as well.